last decade, Comcast has reached 10 million people with the power of the internet through Internet Essentials.
10 years.
10 million people later.
Now, with Project Up, we're deepening our work and investing $1 billion over the next 10 years to help bridge the digital divide. We'll connect even more people to the internet, build digital skills, and empower the next generation of entrepreneurs. We've already launched over 1,000 Wi-Fi-enabled lift zones, partnered with thousands of community-based organizations, helped create a growing network of digital navigators, supported thousands of small businesses, and we're just getting started. Together, we can help build a future of unlimited possibilities.
One person.
One day. One dream at a time.
When youth are awakened to their sense of mission, their power is limitless. Good morning, everyone. I'm Joanne Willis. I'm the branch manager of the Austin Branch Library. Thank you. On behalf of my esteemed staff, can you please wave a hand or so? Austin Branch Library. Welcome. I really appreciate that you're here today. I'd like to acknowledge the esteemed guests that are joining us today. I'm honored that our local Austin resident, Mayor Brandon Johnson, is here. Also, we have with us our local alderman, Chris Taliaferro. Thank you so much for your support over the years. Our own commissioner, Chris Brown, he's here. You're going to hear from him later. Deputy Commissioner Maggie Clemens, thank you for coming. And from our board of directors, Linda Johnson Rice, she's the president. Thank you. And from the Chicago Public Library Foundation, our president and CEO, Brenda Bui. Thank you so much for coming back. And most importantly, let's recognize our youth, the youth from Chicago Build. I also want to recognize Gwendolyn McNutt, Comcast Regional External Affairs Manager, and her colleague, Maria Castro, and all the people who've worked behind the scenes to create this event. Thank you so much for your efforts. And now, please welcome to the stage, Carl Jones Jr., Vice President, External and Government Affairs for Comcast.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for all being here. Thank you, Joanne, for welcoming us to your house. And, you know, it's a great day to be here in the Austin neighborhood. Speaking of introductions, I would like to take a moment, and again, you can't say thank you enough to our mayor for being here today, to our alderman for being here as well, and to our commissioner, Chris Brown, for being here as well to help support the work we do through Project Up. I'll also be remiss not to give a shout out to my leader, Chris Smith, who leads the Greater Chicago region, for being an amazing partner and to helping support us to do things like this. As Joanne said, my name is Carl Jones, and I have the privilege of having the digital equity work that we do as a part of my portfolio. And it's really an honor to have that sort of be a part of the work that I get to lead at an amazing company. You know, I've been working to help make digital equity a reality, not just here in Chicago, but before I was here in the city, throughout our Comcast footprint. And I'm sure that when we hear the term digital equity, everyone has a different definition, but to me, three things really come to mind. One, access to connectivity. Two, the devices to use that connectivity. And three, the digital skills to be able to live and thrive in a digital world. And that's sort of what we're here today to talk about, is kind of talk about that work and how we've helped to sort of do that. You know, we've been a part of this community since 2019. We made an announcement here, which is our largest single expansion of our Internet Essentials program. We announced our Internet Essentials program in 2011 on the South Side at the Harold Washington Library. So we've been committed to digital equity before it was the in vogue term to talk about. So we're happy to be back here again and happy to be here to talk about digital equity and the next steps. So while we made progress, we know that's not enough, and we continue to push forward. So if everyone has their library cards, I ask you to hold on to yours because there are going to be some really cool announcements that we hope to make today that will kind of help change the digital equity narrative here in our city of Chicago. Before we go any further, I get the privilege of starting the program and keeping things moving throughout the day, but I also get the privilege of introducing our Executive Vice President, Broderick Johnson. Broderick is the Executive Vice President of Digital Equity and Public Policy for Comcast. I not only get to count him as a colleague, but I get to count him as a mentor and a friend. He's had a over 3 decades career sort of leading in the spaces of public policy, legal advocacy, and most directly having worked for 2 presidents, most recently working for President Obama as Special Assistant to the President and as well as the Secretary to the Cabinet. Not only is he a great leader and a great thought leader, he's also just a really great human. And the work that he and his team gets to lead has helped to connect millions of people to the internet across the country. So without ado, I'd like to welcome Broderick Johnson to the podium.
Way to lower expectations. Good morning, Chicago. Good morning. It is so great to be here. The sun is shining. I don't care about the rain. It's so great to be back in this city. I want to thank the mayor, and congratulations, brother, for your incredible victory and for what you now are doing to lead this great city. So it's a real honor to meet you and to be here in your great city. And I look forward to working with you through many, many programs and projects over the years to come. And to all the other leaders in Chicago, in government and the private sector who are here as well, Chicago has a very special place in my heart. It's where my oldest son was born. And it's also where, of course, my former boss and lifelong friend, Barack Obama, got his start, as you all know, as a community organizer and leader in Chicago. And you all also know that he and our former First Lady, Michelle Obama, will forever, ever be involved in the city of Chicago when you look at that incredible library, that incredible presidential center that is being built on the south side of Chicago. So we know their presence will be here forever. While Barack Obama was cutting his teeth here in the south side of Chicago, I was cutting mine in West Baltimore, Maryland. And over the years that the president and I have gotten to know each other, we've talked a lot about our similar experiences, how through college and law school and then the highest rungs of government, we've been blessed with professional, personal opportunities to make a difference in the lives of so many. We've also talked about our journeys and the fact that there were so few who looked like us, who came from the neighborhoods we grew up in and where we spent our pivotal years, again, him in Chicago and me in Baltimore. So one of the major reasons that I was inspired to collaborate with him over 20 years ago and to join his administration in 2014, and I continued to work with him through the Obama Foundation and also My Brother's Keeper, is because he and I both share a deep-rooted passion and commitment to empower people who are too often overlooked. In fact, that's what My Brother's Keeper is all about, and I'm glad that there are representatives from the leadership of MBK who are here as well. It's great to see y'all. In my West Wing office, and sometimes I'm like, wow, I had an office in the West Wing of the White House. I'm not so sure that people in Baltimore thought that would happen, but my parents probably did. So I had a West Wing office, and I had this quotation on the wall in that office on a whiteboard, and it read simply, "Make exceptional no longer the exception." In other words, let's make success for all young people from Chicago to Baltimore, Detroit, and beyond the rule and not the exception. It's that expression, that ideal that has driven me before, during, and since my time working for President Obama and in my career. And one of the best ways we can do that today is through high-speed internet connections. It's not a perk, it's not a privilege, it is essential. It's an essential tool for self-empowerment. It's a pathway to become exceptional, and a pathway to achieve unlimited possibilities. By the way, I look at these numbers here, Comcast commitment, $1 billion going forward, over 10 years tackling the digital divide, 1,250 lift zones across the United States, and thousands of partners, hundreds of partners here in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. So that's why the work we do with Comcast in Chicago is so important, and I'm so proud of my colleagues and the partnerships that they have here in Chicago. More than a decade ago, Comcast set out to close the digital divide. We envisioned a network of community partners and neighborhood programs here in Chicago that would empower Chicagoans with the tools to be exceptional in the 21st century and beyond. Broadband internet, a computer, and digital skills training, those are also the essential tools. And a network that would span all 77 neighborhoods of this great city, all 77, to support all Chicagoans throughout every phase of their lives. In 2011, at the Carter G. Woodson Regional Library, by the way, moment of personal privilege, I have a 9-month-old grandson, first grandchild. His name is Carter James Johnson. He's a beautiful little boy. I love when people say, he looks just like you, Grandpa. Yep, we'll go with that. Anyway, it was at that library where we took the first steps toward making this network a reality when we launched Internet Essentials, and that is still the nation's largest and most comprehensive private sector broadband adoption program serving low-income individuals and families. And through Internet Essentials, we have connected nearly 1 million eligible individuals here in the city of Chicago to internet in their home. Let me say that again, nearly 1 million through Internet Essentials. It's extraordinary. And thanks to the federal government's Affordable Connectivity Program, which we call ACP, qualifying households, hundreds of thousands here in the city of Chicago, can now get our Internet Essentials program for free. We have a once-in-a-lifetime generation opportunity, folks, to truly close the digital divide. This network here in Chicago that Comcast has built is more than 6,000 miles of lines. That means that every Chicagoan, regardless of their neighborhood, has access to the same fast gigabit plus internet speed, the same suite of products, and the same high quality of service. In 2020, we partnered with the Chicago Public Schools and with others to launch Chicago Connected, providing free in-home internet service to eligible CPS students and their families. And also in 2020, we worked with community-based organizations to create lift zones where kids and adults can access the internet for free, learn digital skills, and today there are 48 Comcast lift zones across the city of Chicago, 48. In 2021, we launched Project Up, again, $1 billion project over 10 years, looking forward to advance digital equity and economic mobility here in Chicago and across the United States. We made a lot of these investments at the height of the pandemic because we knew the challenges would be even greater because of the pandemic. But look, it's not enough just to say to folks you have an internet connection and then send them on their way. We also have to provide the support that people need to sign up for internet service, to navigate websites, to get the right computers, to learn how to use those computers, to develop digital equity skills so they can excel in school, get a better job, take online classes, access health care, be able to enjoy the joys of life that come as a result of being able to be online. It is so symbolic that we're here at a library where this journey began. Libraries, as you all know, are the keystones of learning and knowledge throughout Chicago's neighborhoods and across the United States. Libraries have been instrumental in expanding digital inclusion through helping people learn and adopt digital skills. For example, there's the Cyber Navigator program, which has already helped thousands of Chicago residents get connected. But even with all these programs, even with these partnerships and these initiatives, there still are thousands of people who still aren't connected to the internet at home here in the city of Chicago. And so, you got a problem, what's the solution? Well, here's a big announcement I want to make today. To help reach the thousands of Chicago residents who remain unconnected, Comcast, I say this so proudly, is giving a $250,000 grant to the Chicago Public Library Foundation to support digital navigators at 26 libraries across this city. Thank you. As you see, these digital navigators are the next generation of the library's Cyber Navigator program, helping Chicagoans sign up for programs like the ACP or Chicago Connected or Internet Essentials. And these navigators are talented and trusted individuals who will help equip students and workers with the digital skills they need to succeed in school and in the workplace. These navigators will empower people in all neighborhoods across the city to realize their own futures filled with unlimited possibilities. It's how we work together to make sure that exceptional is no longer the exception to the rule. So, Mayor, we look forward to continuing to work alongside you, the Chicago Public Library Foundation, and this amazing community and all these partnerships to make digital equity a reality for all the great residents of this city. It's been an incredible journey so far, and let's keep it going. So, Carl, I turn it back over to you. Thank you all very much.
So hopefully my introduction didn't disappoint, and I hope to sort of keep us moving and keep us on track. I'd like to now introduce Garland Copeland, who's one of those digital navigators, to talk about the work that he does and the experiences inside the community.
Well, good morning. Good morning, all. Like Mr. Jones said, my name is Garland Coleman. I am a current cyber navigator at the Douglas Library. I've been with the organization all in all 2 years. I started off in 2016 for about a year and a half, and now I'm back. Just relocated back to Chicago. Yeah, welcome home. So it's great to be back. It's great to be doing things that I love. I did hear $250,000 towards our organization, which I think is great. What we do in the library is we do build on those digital skills. I see most of you guys with phones, on your phones now. Some of these people don't know who have phones, how to use their phones properly, okay? These phones are expensive. You might as well get the most out of them, okay? Also, with computers themselves, they come in and sometimes they just need something as simple as task as printing or scanning a document. They don't know what a mouse is, what a keyboard is, kind of digital jargon, if you will. So what we do as cyber navigators is we kind of calm or ease the pain, and we tell them we can start from square A, you know? Let's build your skills. Let us help you. This is all for free, okay? A lot of my patrons, we have done this together. We've built friendships. They've gotten jobs or found employment that they wouldn't have been able to find as they're seeking employment without these digital skills. We live, it's no longer, the saying is we're going to be in a digital age. We're living in a digital age now. So we have to get these folks. We call it cheeks in the seats. It's a very funny thing that we say at our branch. We have to get them to sit down and to want to do this, because I feel like if they build their skills, it's a confidence, a swagger that they have now, okay? No longer are they coming in and asking for help. They're more like, hey, you know, I got this, Mr. Garland. You know, I'll call you if I need you. And we want them to be able to have that confidence, because now they can take it outside of the library. Now they'll feel confident on their phones at home. How many of y'all been into a Jules or Mariano's, which y'all have here, and it's self-checkout? Now they're equipped to go ahead and be confident to press buttons on a computer where it's, no, I'm gonna wait until they're ready. You know, this is the way we're going. And so I feel like if we can touch them, they can touch others, the more the merrier. So I'm really excited about our program. I love it to death, so much that I came all the way back from Georgia to come back to Chicago to be a cyber navigator. But I'm glad to be here. I'm glad all of y'all are here supporting this. I feel like the more shine or attention that we can draw towards these programs is the better. And it's not only, I see the kids are here too, it's not only for people who don't know. how to use their computers or phones, because y'all can come to us too now, because you guys are going to go out in the workforce and get jobs as well. Resume help, okay? That's what we do too. We're big on that, creating resumes. Job searching, okay? Don't get discouraged when you see jobs that have qualifications that you may not fill all of them, okay? We can work in that, just work things out, okay? And I want everybody to know it's welcome to everyone, okay? It's not just people who don't know how to use a computer, it's to folks who do know how to use computer and digital skills to enhance the skills that you know, because I'm learning every day too. So again, thank you guys for having me. It's been great. Hopefully we can extend this program as long as possible.
Thank you, Garland. Thank you for all the work that you're doing in this space. I have the privilege also of introducing Chris Brown, our Commissioner of the Public Library. Chris is a visionary leader who exemplifies how to transform the spaces that are so key to the success of our neighborhood. So Chris, I turn the floor over to you.
Thank you so much, and I'll try to keep this brief. I know we have some youth in the audience, and I've been there as well, and some of these can go on long, so I'll try to keep this short and sweet. I just really want to thank Comcast for their investment in our digital skill building within our city. Our library has a mission to really make sure that everyone in Chicago is having this robust learning life and experience. We all have potential, but we sometimes need that support to bring it out. So I really want to thank Comcast again. If we can give them one more round of applause. I also am just so thrilled to have all these library supporters here today. As you probably have seen in the press, libraries have been seeing a little bit of some threats going on in the greater Chicagoland area. And I really just want to thank the mayor's team who have really shown up, the support from our Chicago Police Department, the support from our emergency services, and our board president, Linda Johnson Rice, our foundation president, Brenda Langstrad Bowie. It's this community coming together to show their support of our mission that really emboldens our staff and makes our staff feel like they are getting the support that they need to do their job. So a big thank you to Chicago and our leadership. Of course, in an increasingly digital world, that mission means people need to have the technology, the access, and the tools to live out their best lives. In our city, our library has a vision for walkable library access. Through an impressive network of 81 library locations, we have over 3,000 public computers that our city is able to connect to. And each year, we provide 4 million public PC and broadband sessions. If we can get a round of applause for that. This infrastructure that our city has built within our libraries really acts as a digital lifeline for so many. We heard about the impact our digital navigators make, how access to technology, broadband devices isn't enough. We need to make sure that people are connecting one-on-one with the digital support that they need. It's why we partner with Comcast and our Library Foundation to make sure that our digital navigators can help people build that confidence. We know some of these people, as was mentioned, are using a computer for the first time in their lives or connecting with important opportunities like job applications. We place these resources strategically throughout our city in neighborhoods lacking the highest amount of broadband based on data about computer use and other equity indicators. As has been mentioned, digital access and support are as essential as ever, as essential as water and electricity. They're a necessity in today's world. Without them, we cannot be fully socially or economically engaged. It's a participatory issue and a shared responsibility, and I'm so thrilled that we have Comcast as a partner. And now it's my privilege to introduce our next speaker, who is leading us for a more connected and inclusive Chicago, our Mayor, Brandon Johnson.
Wow, well done. Thank you so much, Commissioner Brown, for your leadership and that introduction. Doesn't it feel good to be on the west side of Chicago? Always, and thank you all for making sure that my first stop of the day is around the corner from the house. So every now and then the mayor of Chicago gets to sleep in. In fact, from now on, every single first stop for the mayor of Chicago has to start in Austin. How about that? So, but thank you, and of course to my colleague and friend, the Alderman of the 29th Ward, Chris Taliaferro, thank you for your leadership and for you being here today. I do think it's important, and thank you, Commissioner Brown, for referencing what is clearly an attack on our democracy. And so I do want to, acknowledge the concerns that the Chicago Public Library has experienced and our entire library community. Our library staff have been dealing with a lot over the course of these last few weeks, and I just want everyone to know that I'm very much committed to keeping our library patrons and all of our workers safe. I've said it before that there are extremists in this country, right-wing extremists, who want to disrupt our form of democracy in our life. So much so that they are working overtime to try to redo the Civil War. And we're not going to give that to them. We're not going to submit to that type of unclean spirit. And just know that as a city, we are committed to public accommodations. And so thank you for all of your work that you all do every single day, and know that the full force of government is with you and will always be with you. And so with that, I do appreciate this incredible investment, a $250,000 grant that will support the evolution of the Chicago Public Library's Cyber Navigator, to provide that much more support to at least 26 library branches across the city, and helping Chicagoans to strengthen their digital skills and to be successful in an age where digital literacy and access, it really dominates our lives. Digital navigators do more than just teach people how to navigate the internet, as Garland articulated. They also connect residents to programs and to help low-income families work to pay for internet services at home. And for example, the Chicago Connected program, which provides internet services for CPS households. And that's a remarkable testament to how Comcast and others have stepped up to support families in what has clearly been full exposure, not just the digital divide, but the just access to basic amenities to life. And in today's world, being online is a prerequisite for participation in education, employment, civic engagement, healthcare, and virtually every aspect of modern life. In fact, without the internet and the digital age, quite frankly, I would not be mayor of the city of Chicago. The number of advertisements that little kids had to have their shows interrupted with Brandon is better. It's why those young kids told their parents to vote for Brandon. So it's no secret that we have a digital divide in Chicago, and many South and West Side residents and students are not yet in a position to take full advantage of programs and opportunities to ultimately connect them to not just the city, but to connect them around the world. Bridging that gap will be a key part of my administration's work to build a more equitable and thriving Chicago. In fact, the best thing that we can do is always invest in families, and particularly our young people. When young people are seen and heard and feel valued, their potential is endless. And this investment is speaking to the endless possibilities of the greatest asset, and that's our people. And just recently, I think it's important, my administration announced Shy Device Donation Month, helping to put devices in the hands of students and their families. Comcast is supporting the city's mission to close the digital divide, and they are doing so with another surprise, as that announcement has come forth today. And I want you to stay tuned, because Comcast is not done. There's more good work for them to do, and they're stepping up to meet the challenge and the demand. But in closing, in order for us to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago, we have to make sure that there is full participation in the global economy and government has to lead the way, particularly within the public sector. Many of you know that I've started my professional, or portion of my professional career spent as a public school teacher, and understanding the values of public accommodation, particularly through the lens of Black liberation, whether it's transportation, housing, good paying jobs, healthcare, public accommodations. That's what my ancestors fought for. And so for Comcast to be in a position whereas private sector and government is coming together to fulfill the expectations that was once only a dream. It's a true testament to who we are, not just as a city, but who we are as a country. So thank you, Comcast, for your commitment and love for people, and together we can create a more equitable and just Chicago. Thank you all very much.
I know the mayor has a hard stop, but I know he just sort of teased an announcement. So if I could have the mayor, Broderick, and the commissioner come back up, and I'll turn the mic back over to Broderick. Chris, will you join us as well?
Y'all gonna name the Austin branch after me? Really?
Yeah, there you go. Is that it? Yeah. All right, we got another announcement to make later then. Okay. But for this one, this looks like The Price is Right or something, right? Mr. Mayor, we so much share your passion when it comes to empowering Chicagoans through the internet. So we're here with you, and we will continue to be here with you. And now I get to do something that's a bit more fun, and it has to do with what's under the cover here. Mr. Mayor, you talked about the importance of devices, too. And you've talked about how important computers and laptops are as well. We know there are limitations in terms of what phones can do, quite honestly. And the idea of like young kids in this community trying to compete with other kids who have laptops, right? And these kids, otherwise though, in this community might be using cell phones. So we appreciate the fact that you are concerned about that divide as well. And so, we've heard your call, and we want to heed that call. So I'm pleased to make another announcement that Comcast is donating 1,000 laptops to 10 community-based organizations across neighborhoods in this city. These are real, and these are real important. The organizations that will get these laptops to work with the young folks, especially in the city, include Build Chicago, the Chicago Urban League, both the YMCA and the YWCA of Metro Chicago, as well as other organizations. Again, each organization will receive 100 laptops to give to the people they serve in their communities. This is just fantastic. I have the best job in America, right? Other than you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, right.
You have the second best.
I have the second, although, yeah, well, my wife would say, yes, Broderick, you keep working for Comcast, and don't, you're too old to run for mayor. Sorry, so I'm not that old, y'all. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to all the folks who've spoken here today. Joanne Willis, Carl Jones, Garland. Where's Garland? Garland, where are you, man? Thank you for what you talked about. And let's give him a round of applause about the real-life story. Commissioner Brown, and of course, you, Mayor Johnson. We love Chicago. I love Chicago. It's great to be here, and we will continue to be on this journey with you, Mr. Mayor, and others. So thank you. I think that concludes our program, so thank you all very much for being here.